There is, within the order of creation, a profound truth. God does not operate by chance or mere coincidence. He is not a matchmaker in the worldly sense, arranging based on fleeting preferences. Rather, he is the master weaver, intertwining two lives at the right time, in the right way, for a greater purpose. We often desire the fulfillment of a promise without embracing the preparation required to sustain it. Many pray for a kingdom spouse, but few ask to be made into one. A relationship ordained by heaven is not simply about finding the right person, but becoming the right person. This is why God, in his wisdom, does not rush the process. He refines, reshapes, and sometimes isolates. He removes the impurities of selfishness, the burdens of unresolved wounds, and the distractions of lesser desires. You are not waiting in vain. You are being sculpted into someone capable of stewarding a love that mirrors the divine. Worldly love is often built upon fragile foundations, beauty, charm, momentary excitement. But a kingdom marriage is not sustained by passing emotions. It is upheld by spiritual alignment. It is the joining of two who are not merely drawn to each other's presence, but who strengthen each other's walk with God. God will never unite two people solely for personal happiness. Happiness is a byproduct, not the purpose. The purpose is growth, transformation, and the fulfillment of a divine calling. When God brings two together, he does so with eternity in mind. Perhaps you are in a season of waiting where silence echoes louder than your prayers. This is not an abandonment, but a divine orchestration. God does not give prematurely. What he has planned requires readiness. The waiting is not wasted, it is working. Do not let impatience drive you to settle for something less than God's best. The enemy offers counterfeits, quick fixes that appear fulfilling but lack the foundation to endure. The right person in the wrong season can still lead to disaster, but the right person in God's appointed time will be a blessing that cannot be shaken. When God ordains a relationship, it is not forced, chaotic, or confusing. It is marked by peace. There is a harmony of vision, a unity of purpose. A kingdom spouse does not distract you from your calling, but propels you further into it. Do not be deceived. What God has for you cannot be lost to time, nor can it be stolen by circumstances. If he has spoken it, if he has declared it, then it shall be. Your only task is to trust, to prepare, and to remain steadfast in faith. Marriage, in its purest form, is not an end in itself, but a reflection of something far greater, the love between Christ and his people. A kingdom marriage is not about completion, but about companionship in the journey toward holiness. It is a love that serves, sacrifices, and strengthens. So, if you find yourself yearning for what has not yet come, rest in this truth. God is not delaying, he is designing. And when his work is complete, when the appointed time arrives, what he has written will unfold in a way that no earthly force can hinder. A kingdom marriage is not a product of human striving, but a result of divine orchestration. It is not found through desperate searching, nor is it the outcome of human manipulation. It is established by God, designed before time began and revealed in his perfect timing. The world often teaches that love must be chaste, that one must actively seek, persuade, and convince another to be with them. But in God's design, a kingdom marriage is not something to be forced. It is something to be discovered. The union of two souls, intricately woven into God's plan, is not a coincidence, but a deliberate act of divine will. God is the ultimate matchmaker, not because he randomly selects two people and commands them to be together, but because he aligns circumstances, transforms hearts, and prepares individuals long before they ever meet. Unlike worldly relationships that often stem from fleeting emotions, convenience, or societal pressure, a marriage orchestrated by God is deeply rooted in purpose. He does not simply match personalities or preferences. He matches destinies. A kingdom spouse is not just a partner for companionship, but a collaborator in fulfilling God's greater plan. The two are brought together not only to love one another, but to glorify God in their union. Human effort often leads to frustration because it is driven by personal desires, immediate gratification, and limited understanding. Many times, people attempt to force relationships, hoping that if they try hard enough, they can make someone fit into their vision of marriage. They compromise values, ignore red flags, and rush into commitments that God never ordained. When a relationship is built on human effort rather than divine guidance, it often results in heartbreak, confusion, and disappointment. What God has not authored, he is not obligated to sustain. God's orchestration does not mean passivity on our part, but rather it requires trust and obedience. He calls individuals to focus on their personal growth, their walk with him, and their preparation for the responsibilities of marriage. Many people desire a God-ordained relationship but are unwilling to undergo the refining process necessary to sustain it. They long for a spouse without cultivating the qualities that make a strong and lasting union. God does not just prepare the person you will marry, he prepares you. He works on your heart, shaping you into the person capable of stewarding the love and commitment that a kingdom marriage requires. Timing is another crucial element of divine matchmaking. God does not bring two people together prematurely. Just as fruit must ripen before it is ready for harvest, individuals must be spiritually, emotionally, and mentally matured before they are ready to enter a lifelong covenant. Many rush into relationships because of loneliness, societal pressure, or impatience, only to realize that they were not prepared for the weight of commitment. When God orchestrates a marriage, he ensures that both individuals are ready to love selflessly, to serve, to sacrifice, and to grow together in faith. Divine orchestration also means that circumstances will align in ways that could never be engineered by human hand. The meeting of two people, the development of their relationship, and the unfolding of their story are marked by a sense of divine order. This does not mean there will be no challenges, but there will be an undeniable sense of purpose. A relationship established by God will not be built on confusion or turmoil. It will be characterized by peace. It will not demand endless striving to make it work. It will flow in accordance with God's will. One of the most profound aspects of divine matchmaking is the way God uses time to develop both individuals separately before bringing them together. Often, one or both individuals will go through seasons of isolation, growth, or even hardship. These seasons are not wasted. They are essential. In these times, God refines character, heals wounds, and builds faith. What may seem like delays are actually divine preparations. God does not just give a person a spouse, He gives them a partner who is equipped to walk alongside them in their calling. Divine orchestration also ensures that a kingdom marriage is based on more than mere attraction. In the world, relationships are often built on superficial qualities, appearance, charm, or financial stability. But God looks deeper. He unites two people based on spiritual compatibility, shared vision, and divine purpose. He does not bring people together just to satisfy their personal desires, but to accomplish something greater for His kingdom. A marriage ordained by God will not only be a source of joy, but also a source of impact. It will inspire others, strengthen faith, and contribute to God's work on earth. Perhaps one of the most difficult aspects of divine orchestration is surrendering control. Many struggle with the idea of trusting God completely with their love story. They fear that His timing will take too long or that His choice may not align with their own desires. But when one truly understands that God's plans are always greater than our own, trust becomes easier. God knows the deepest desires of our hearts because He placed them there. He is not withholding blessings. He is preparing the best possible outcome. Surrendering to His will does not mean giving up hope. It means placing hope in the one who holds the future. God's orchestration also means protection. When He is in control, He shields His children from relationships that would harm them. He closes doors that are not meant to be walked through and removes people who are not part of His divine plan. Though this may be painful in the moment, it is always an act of love. What seems like rejection is often divine redirection. When God says no, it is because He has something far greater in store. Divine matchmaking does not always happen in the way we expect. It may not follow the timeline we imagined or fit the picture we created in our minds. But it will always be better than anything we could have orchestrated on our own. God's plan for marriage is not simply about happiness. It is about holiness. It is about refining two individuals, bringing them together, and using their union to reflect His love and glory. The beauty of a God-orchestrated marriage is not just in the love shared between two people, but in the way that love points back to Him. Before God reveals a kingdom marriage, He takes time to prepare both individuals. This preparation is not a passive waiting period, but an active transformation. It is a season where God molds, refines, and strengthens each person so they can steward the relationship He has designed for them. Many desire the blessing of a marriage but are unprepared for the responsibility it carries. God, in His wisdom, does not give before one is ready. He prepares before He provides. Preparation begins with character refinement. Marriage is not about personal fulfillment alone. It is a covenant that demands sacrifice, patience, and selflessness. God allows challenges and trials in singleness to develop perseverance and emotional maturity. He exposes weaknesses that would otherwise become stumbling blocks in a relationship. He teaches humility, grace, and the ability to forgive. If one cannot handle disagreements, disappointments, or hardships alone, they will struggle even more within a marriage. God does not prepare people to merely enjoy love. He prepares them to endure, grow, and nurture it. Spiritual growth is at the heart of preparation. A kingdom marriage is built on a foundation of faith, and without a strong personal relationship with God, one cannot lead or support a spouse spiritually. Before bringing two people together, God ensures they are individually rooted in Him. He deepens their prayer life, strengthens their dependence on His word, and teaches them to trust His timing. A person who has not developed spiritual discipline in singleness will not suddenly acquire it in marriage. The time before the promise is an opportunity to cultivate intimacy with God, so the marriage will be centered on Him rather than human emotion. God also works on healing past wounds. Many enter relationships carrying unresolved pain, insecurities, and emotional baggage. Unhealed wounds can create distrust, fear, and unhealthy attachments in marriage. Instead of rushing to find a spouse, God invites individuals to find healing in Him first. He does not want past heartbreaks or childhood wounds to dictate the course of a future marriage. This season of preparation is a time to surrender pain, receive inner healing, and learn to walk in emotional wholeness. Only a healed heart can fully embrace and nurture love without being clouded by fear or past disappointment. Identity formation is another critical part of preparation. Many seek love to fill a void, hoping marriage will give them validation or a sense of worth. However, true fulfillment comes from God, not from another person. If one does not know their identity in Christ, they will place unrealistic expectations on their spouse to complete them. God prepares individuals by teaching them their value, their purpose, and their unique calling. He ensures they enter marriage not as half-completed individuals looking for completion, but as whole people ready to complement each other. Preparation also includes learning stewardship. Marriage involves responsibilities beyond romance. It requires financial wisdom, emotional intelligence, and practical life skills. God teaches stewardship in these areas before entrusting someone with a spouse and a family. Financial irresponsibility, lack of discipline, and poor decision-making in singleness will only magnify in marriage. God may allow seasons of testing, managing finances, handling stress, or leading others to ensure one is ready for the weight of partnership. Marriage is not just about sharing joy, but also about sharing burdens, and God ensures both individuals are capable of carrying that load together. The waiting season is not meant to be idle. God calls individuals to walk in purpose long before they meet their spouse. Many delay their calling because they believe they will only fulfill it once they are married. But God's plan is not on hold. He prepares both individuals through their personal missions, assignments, and spiritual growth. Purpose attracts a kingdom spouse, not desperation. When one is actively walking in their calling, they are more likely to meet someone aligned with their God-given destiny. Testing is a major part of preparation. God allows individuals to be tested in areas that will be crucial in marriage: patience, humility, faith, and trust. He places them in situations where they must choose obedience over comfort, faith over doubt, and character over convenience. These tests refine and strengthen them, ensuring they are prepared for the trials that will inevitably come in marriage. The strength of a relationship is not tested in good times, but in struggles, and God ensures both individuals have the endurance to withstand them. Community and accountability play a role in preparation. God often surrounds individuals with mentors, spiritual leaders, and wise counsel who speak into their lives. He teaches them the importance of seeking wisdom, receiving correction, and growing in community. A marriage that lacks accountability is vulnerable to attacks, but one that is built with a foundation of godly counsel is strengthened. Learning to receive guidance in singleness prepares one to receive and give wisdom in marriage. The process of preparation can feel like a delay, but it is actually divine acceleration. God is not withholding, He is developing. The time before the promise is not wasted. It is the foundation upon which a kingdom marriage will stand. Without proper preparation, even the most divinely orchestrated relationship can fail under pressure. God's timing is not about mere waiting. It is about making sure that when the promise arrives, it is sustained by wisdom, character, and faith. A kingdom marriage is not built on fleeting attraction but on spiritual alignment. In the world, relationships often begin with external appeal, beauty, charm, status, or shared interest. But these factors alone do not sustain a lifelong covenant. Physical attraction may initiate interest, but it cannot bear the weight of marriage. A relationship rooted in God must go beyond the surface. It must be founded on shared faith, purpose, and divine calling. Spiritual compatibility means both individuals are walking in the same direction, not just emotionally or mentally, but in their faith and purpose. A relationship where one partner is deeply rooted in Christ while the other is indifferent or opposed to spiritual growth creates division. Marriage is a journey of unity, and when two people are unequally yoked, their paths pull them in different directions. What begins as minor differences in belief can lead to significant struggles in decision-making, values, and the overall vision for life. Shared faith provides a solid foundation. In the trials of life, physical attraction and common interests are not enough to sustain a couple. Challenges will arise: financial hardships, loss, disappointments, and moments of doubt. A marriage rooted in God stands firm because both individuals rely on Him as their anchor. They do not turn against each other in difficult times. They turn to God together. They pray, seek wisdom, and strengthen their bond through their shared trust in divine guidance. Spiritual compatibility ensures that both partners view marriage with the same sacred understanding. In a world that often sees relationships as temporary and disposable, a kingdom marriage operates on the principle of covenant. A covenant is not a contract that can be broken when circumstances become difficult. It is a lifelong commitment before God. When both individuals share this understanding, they approach marriage with reverence, dedication, and a willingness to sacrifice for the sake of unity. Purpose alignment is another essential aspect of spiritual compatibility. God does not bring two people together merely for companionship. He unites them for a greater mission. Each individual has a unique calling, and a kingdom marriage is designed to support and enhance that purpose. When two people are spiritually aligned, they complement each other's callings rather than compete or pull each other away from their divine assignments. A spouse should not be a distraction from God's purpose, but a partner in fulfilling it. Prayer and spiritual disciplines must be shared values. A relationship where one partner desires a life of prayer, worship, and deep faith while the other is uninterested creates spiritual loneliness. A kingdom marriage thrives when both individuals encourage each other's faith. They pray together, seek God's will together, and grow spiritually side by side. Their bond is strengthened not only by love but by their shared pursuit of holiness. Spiritual compatibility also affects decision-making. A couple who does not share the same values regarding faith will struggle when making important choices: how to raise children, how to manage finances, and how to navigate moral dilemmas. If one partner seeks divine wisdom while the other relies solely on personal reasoning, conflicts arise. Agreement in faith ensures that both individuals make choices that align with God's principles, leading to unity rather than division. Marriages based on superficial attraction often struggle when external circumstances change. Looks fade, wealth fluctuates, and interests evolve. A relationship rooted in God, however, grows stronger with time. When two people are spiritually connected, their love deepens because it is not based on temporary conditions. They cherish each other, not just for what they offer, but for who they are in Christ. Spiritual compatibility also fosters peace. A relationship outside of God's will often brings confusion, anxiety, and unrest. When two people are aligned spiritually, their relationship is marked by divine peace. They do not feel the need to force the relationship or manipulate outcomes. They trust God's timing and guidance. Their union is not driven by pressure, but by the assurance that God has brought them together for His purpose. Recognizing spiritual compatibility requires discernment. It is easy to be drawn to someone based on emotions, but true compatibility must be evaluated through prayer and wisdom. Feelings can be deceptive, and attraction alone does not guarantee a lasting bond. A God-ordained relationship bears the fruit of peace, clarity, and mutual growth. It is not rushed, confused, or full of doubts. A spiritually compatible marriage glorifies God. It is not just about happiness, but about holiness. It reflects the relationship between Christ and His people, demonstrating love, sacrifice, and faithfulness. It serves as a testimony to others, showing that true love is not just about passion, but about divine purpose. God does not merely bring two people together for their own fulfillment. He unites them to fulfill His greater plan. God's timing is perfect, yet it rarely aligns with human expectations. People often grow impatient, questioning why their kingdom spouse has not yet arrived. The world pressures individuals to believe that marriage must happen within a certain time frame, creating anxiety and self-doubt. But divine matchmaking operates on an eternal clock, not human schedule. What appears as a delay is actually divine alignment. God does not withhold blessings, He prepares them. The waiting season is not about passivity, but about preparation. Many view waiting as a frustrating period of inactivity, but in God's design, waiting is a season of growth. It is a time when God refines character, deepens faith, and removes anything that would hinder a God-ordained marriage. Impatience often leads to compromise, but those who trust God's timing find themselves stepping into a relationship that is whole, purposeful, and aligned with His will. God allows waiting to build trust. If a person cannot trust God with their love story, how will they trust Him with the greater challenges of marriage? Trust is developed in uncertainty. The longer one waits, the deeper their reliance on God becomes. Instead of rushing to manufacture a relationship, they learn to surrender control. True faith is not believing God will do something instantly. It is believing He will do it at the right time. The waiting season often includes a period of pruning. God removes unhealthy attachments, past wounds, and unfulfilled expectations. Many enter relationships carrying baggage from previous heartbreaks, insecurities, or unresolved issues. If These are not dealt with beforehand. They will surface in marriage. God, in His mercy, allows a season of waiting to heal what is broken, ensuring that when He brings two people together, they are whole and not dependent on each other for emotional healing. God also uses waiting to refine desires. Many start with an idea of what their ideal spouse should look like, but over time, God shifts their focus from external qualities to spiritual depth. The longer one waits, the more they realize that what truly matters is character, faith, and purpose alignment. Immaturity demands instant gratification, but wisdom understands that a lasting relationship is not built on fleeting emotions. During the waiting season, God often removes distractions. People who are not part of His plan may exit, doors that seemed promising may close, and opportunities that once appeared ideal may vanish. This can be painful, but it is God's way of protecting His children from settling for less than His best. A relationship outside of God's will may seem fulfilling in the moment, but it will never bring the peace and purpose that a divinely orchestrated marriage does. Waiting is also a time of learning obedience. God often asks individuals to focus on His calling rather than obsessing over when their spouse will arrive. Many delay their purpose, believing marriage is the starting point of their journey. But God does not operate that way. He calls individuals to walk in their mission before revealing their partner. When one is consumed with fulfilling their divine assignment, they often find that love arrives in the midst of obedience, not in the midst of striving. The waiting season requires patience, but patience is not just about enduring time. It is about developing character. God is more concerned with making someone the right spouse than simply bringing them one. If an individual is not ready to love sacrificially, forgive consistently, and serve selflessly, they are not ready for marriage. A kingdom spouse is not a prize to be won, but a responsibility to be stewarded. God's timing is also about protection. He knows when someone is truly ready for marriage and when entering a relationship too soon would lead to heartbreak. Many look back and realize that had they married earlier, they would not have been spiritually, emotionally, or mentally prepared. What seemed like a delay was actually divine mercy, shielding them from unnecessary pain. The enemy often attacks during waiting seasons, planting seeds of doubt and comparison. Seeing others enter relationships can create feelings of inadequacy, but God's plans are unique for each person. A divine marriage cannot be rushed, nor can it be compared to others. God does not operate on human timetables, and His best cannot be substituted with a premature alternative. God's timing does not mean an absence of effort. While waiting, individuals must actively grow in their faith, refine their skills, and cultivate a life that honors God. They must become the person they are praying for, a person who desires a faithful, spiritually mature, and emotionally strong spouse must first develop those qualities within themselves. God often answers prayers by transforming the one who is praying. The waiting season is not about testing endurance, but about deepening faith. It is about shifting focus from longing for marriage to longing for God. When an individual places their hope in a spouse rather than in Christ, they set themselves up for disappointment. But when they find contentment in God, marriage becomes a complement to their life, not the center of it. A kingdom marriage arrives not when one is desperate, but when one is ready. God's timing ensures that both individuals are equipped to handle the joys and challenges of marriage. The right person at the wrong time is still the wrong relationship. But when God brings two prepared hearts together, their union will not only bring love but will also glorify Him.